Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody, and
Waalaikumsalam
welcome to the
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
International Conference of Graduate Studies. Today, we will open the parallel session in room 4, session 4-1, and I see that all of the participants are already in the room. So first, I see the first presenter is Mr. Nopriyandi Saputra. I think you're present now, right? Mr. Nopriyandi. Okay, yeah. And then Mr. Riyandi.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Riyandi has present, and then, but Mr. Fatih is not present. Is that correct? Mr. Fatih is not here. Okay, so in this case, we'll move on to Mr. Yusiran. Mr. Yusiran, yes. Hello? Mr. Yusiran, are you present now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, I am.
good. Right. So the parallel session now, we have the first session from 10 to 11, but since we have only 3 presenters at present now, we will just continue if you have finished, and then we will have a Q&A session before we move on to the session 4.2. Right, so in this case, I'd like you to start your presentation and then make it short so that we will have an opportunity to have a more question and answer session. Please, the first presenter will be, sorry, I haven't introduced myself here. Okay, my name is Rahman Setiawan. I'm from the Faculty of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. And then I'll be happy to chair this session. And then after this, we will also have the next chair, that is Dr. Irma Zakia, so, for the session 4.2. Okay, so let's continue for the first presentation by Mr. Nopriyandi. Mr. Nopriyandi Saputra.
Okay,
Please.
Pak. I have a pre-recorded video here, so I can play now.
Okay. Hang on, I think I could not hear the voice. Mas Nur Fauzi,
Yes.
can you fix the problem? I think the voice, we are missing the voice.
Mr. Nopriyadi, can you send me the file, the video?
Okay. I send you in the chat box, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have sent to the chat box the link.
Yeah. I'm checking it.
So while we are waiting, I would like you, all of the participants, to be active, and then please ask, even though maybe it is not near to your expertise, but at least that you can be active to ask a question, because I'm sure that the presentation will be very interesting, yeah, and new to us. Okay, Mas Nur, is there any problem? Great. Okay, please. Still, we cannot hear the voice.
Oh, okay, wait.
I think there is a
Okay.
advanced sharing option, maybe.
Okay. If it's still a problem, I can directly present.
Okay.
It's okay?
Oh, okay, okay.
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 Hmm.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry for the problem. Good morning, respected moderator, Pak Rahmat Setiawan, and ladies and gentlemen, all the participants on this conference. I'm Nopriadi Saputra, would like to present our paper with the title, The Influential Factors of Work Productivity During COVID-19, the Effect of Digital Skill, Digital Collaboration, and Organizational Support. This paper is a collaborative study from eight faculty members from eight university. I'm Nopriadi Saputra from Bina Nusantara, ST Aisyah from STIMIC Indonesia Padang, Kanifatul Husna from Universitas Jember, sorry, and other participants. You can see the picture here from various university in Indonesia. Okay. Introduction. Indonesia government has instructed that all working citizens to do work from home during the pandemic, and the pandemic has changed fundamentally our civilization and forced the workforce migration from work centrally at the office into remotely at the home. It's about the 37% job can be conducted totally from the home in the United States. The immediate or sudden instruction for working at home make the employee productivity, business survivability, and national economic growth decline or drop. Employee productivity may differ individually, considerably, and when working from home rather than working from the usual workforce. So the work productivity become an important issue in the perspective of micro and microeconomic. As an alternative working arrangement, work productivity is still questioned by the organization, especially for the organization who run work from home massively at the first time. In this article, we use the organizational behavior theory to see the work productivity. Productivity may be influenced in many factors, personal factors, group factors, or organizational factors. On this article, we use the work productivity influenced by the digital skill as the personal factors, and the digital collaboration is group factors, and the organizational support as the organizational factor. So finally, this study to answer the question, are digital skill, digital collaboration, and first organizational support are influential factors for the work productivity during COVID-19. So based on this background, we have four variable or four theoretical concept: work productivity, digital skill, digital collaboration, and passive organizational support. We use the measurement tool or instrument from the Webber research. Work productivity we use from the Allen Golden and Shockley, 2015. Digital skill we use from the Vanderson, Halsper, and Anon. Digital collaboration we use from Elsley, Defarage, and Crunch, 2003. And Passive organizational support we use the Link, Eisenberg, and Amelie, 1999. Based on the literature review and background, we make a quantitative study using the survey for collecting data. We use the non-probabilistic sampling model. We have involved about the 824 office workers from 32 provinces in Indonesia. We use descriptive and causal analysis, Smart BLS application for structuring and analyzing data. We use the second order model. On this table, we can see that the respondent is equally male and female, almost same. They has age below than 40 years old, about 76%. 67%, and most of them are higher education background, and the work experience less than 10 years, about 50%. And this the first time work experience, work from home experience, and the first timer is about 70%. And the institution came from the private company, and was the position as staff and supervisor. The respondents come from Jawa Timur, Jawa Tengah, Sumatera Barat, Jawa Barat, and DKI Jakarta is about 75%. Then we use model here. You can see here in this model that work productivity, WFH is influenced by digital skill, and influenced by digital collaboration, and influenced by the passive organizational support. Work productivity is defined into two dimensions, objective and subjective dimension outcome. And digital skill is reflected into 4 dimensions: digital technical skill, digital communication, digital analytic, and digital mindset. And digital collaboration, we can see here, is reflected into 4 dimensions: digital characteristic of collaboration, job type, and quality of collaboration, and technological use in a collaboration. Passive organizational support, we can reflect it into the appreciation, development, working condition, and well-being. Based on this research model, we conduct the validity and reliability analysis. For the validity indicator, we use the autoloading score. Here we can see that autoloading score is more than 0.7, so all the indicators are valid. For validity variable and dimension, we use upgrade variant extracted. So we can see that okay, Pak. Ngajar, Pak. Ngajar.
Hello, Mr. Nopriandi. Are you still there? Hello? Is there any problem? Hello? Mr. Nopriandi? You have under 3 minutes. What I'm seeing now is freeze, and there's no voice.
It seems that Mr. Nopriadi has left the room, I think.
Huh? Okay, right. I'm afraid that we have a problem in his connection. Let's wait maybe a few seconds. Then, if he's not coming, I think we have to move on to the next presenter.
Or maybe we can try to play his video. if
We
possible.
have a problem in the voice
Okay.
with the video. Right. Okay. I think we have waited enough. So I think we can move on to the next presenter. I'm sorry about that, Mr. Nopriadi. So we have to move on now. So we have to move on to the next presenter, which is Mr. Riyandi. Please, we're giving you a opportunity, Mr. Riyandi. Please start your
Okay.
presentation.
Thank you. I will share
And
screen.
then, okay. It's better if you are here. It's better for you to present by yourself.
Could you see my screen?
Yes, great.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Riyandi. I will present my paper with my co-author Kevin Marojahan, BN, and Nanang Haryanto. We are from School of Electrical Engineering and Informatics, ITB. The content of the paper is an introduction, methodology, result, and conclusion. The beacon for this research is microgrid is where source generation, load, energy storage are connected and can be controlled. And it can electrify the frontier, remote, and disadvantaged area in Indonesia using a solar PV system. However, it has some issue like for reliability from factors such as degradation, inverter, or poor quality assurance. Many studies for the reliability already conducted, and with its financial impact, and the model is evaluated using steady-state availability, and is use probability density function such as exponential or Weibull, and it's solved by many methods and or simulate using software. The research contribution are modeling reliability based on solar PV, battery, solar charge, controller, and inverter. This paper presents reliability using state space analysis with Markov process, and it describes impact, failure rate, and repair rate to the reliability, and the effect of maintenance to the reliability based on sensitivity analysis, and it's identified the expected lifetime of the isolated microgrid system. So move to the methodology. In this methodology, describe modeling using method block diagram or Markov process. The block diagram represents the reliability of the system using box that reflect component or value mechanism. The Markov process depends on the behavior of one component that so its work between working state or valid state. For this unisolated microgrid is a microgrid with no point of common coupling that exists and is not connected to the utility grid. The point of reliability is the point where the electricity is received to the load from this one, from PV array or battery. So PV array and battery is connected parallel and serial with solar charge controller and inverter. This one for reliability of each component is modeled by exponential distribution. And this is the expected lifetime is shown in this slide. With this one, it is block diagram of reliability. For this state system, we use state variable of each component and is simplified by table 1. This one, a system state function Vj represent the system as working or valid state, and this one is system characteristic. Based on table 1, we can make a state diagram of the system isolated microgrid. This model assumes that the microgrid is deployed without additional spare part or maintenance, and the system transit is only for failure rate lambda for each component. The system is transit from working state S0 to valid state S2, and it is an absorbing state. We can see the state system equation with matrix A is characteristic of the system, and the reliability of the system is the sum of the working state, and the expected lifetime is defined below. In case 2, the isolated microgrid with Ferrier battery. In this condition, that the isolated microgrid has trained personnel and spare parts that are available. It is represented by repair rate mu b, and for repairing battery when the battery is failed. So in the model, we have some transition from step S1V to S0 with mu b, repairing rate battery or repair rate battery. In this one, we have 2 expected lifetime. First is mean time to post failure, and second is mean time before failure. In case 3, we have isolated microgrid with the repair of all components. When the utility operates, the isolated microgrid and the spare part of all components are continuously available, and the personnel is trained and available to repair the failed component. In the model is shown by repair rate of all components. In the long run, the system will balance between the working and valid state, and the derivative of probability become 0, and the time to reset in either type of the state will be infinite. The availability is the sum of the working state. The result. In this study, we use the reliability data from existing literature. The table 2 shows the mean of failure rate and repair rate. And the calculation is using MATLAB by different equation. And the table 3 shows the validation model state system to block diagram. It shows high precision because all components are represented and the state function is counted. The table 4 shows the calculation reliability and expected lifetime. For the case 1, the expected lifetime depends on the smallest expected lifetime of the component, which is inverter. For this case 2, the battery maintenance to battery improve the expected lifetime by 2%. And for the availability in case 3 is high due to continuous maintenance, and the expected lifetime become infinity, then the financial evaluation of the system is easier to be evaluated. For the sensitive analysis, we calculate the reliability for the value of failure rate is double, and so for the 1 year. In normal parameter, in 1 year, only analysis show that the reliability and expected lifetime is component that has high failure rate. In this case, it is inverter. The second sensitivity analysis is to calculate the reliability for the value repair rate is increased 2 times and so for 1 year. It shows for repair rate of battery increased 2 times in case 2, more opaque to MTBF value than MTTFF, where it increased 0.05% and 0.01% respectively, and the availability only increased 0.01% and 0.02% for the value of each repair rate of each component. The conclusion is this paper success describe the modeling reliability of accelerated microgrid based on a solar PV, battery, solar charge controller, and inverter. It presents the reliability using state space analysis with the Markov process. The accelerated microgrid is modeled for 3 cases. The first case is without repairing component or maintenance. The system has expected lifetime of 3 years that depend on smallest expected lifetime of component. In this case, is inverter of 4 years. In the second case, maintenance to repair your battery improve the expected lifetime. It increased around 2%, and the reliability in the second case is 37% in 3rd year or in the end expected life. In third case, the availability of the system is high. It is 99.94%. It is high due to continuous maintenance, and the expected lifetime of the system become infinite, and the financial evaluation of the system is easier to be evaluated. The sensitivity analysis is conducted with the failure rate and repair rate are doubled, and the reliability is calculated for 1 year. Battery maintenance increased the expected lifetime by 2%, but the reliability only increased by 0.2%. The results show that the reliability and expected lifetime are affected by topology, and it is more sensitive to variation of failure rate of component that has high failure rate. In its case is inverter. The variation for repair rate affect MTBF, MTTFF. In the case of case 2 model of repaired battery, it increased 0.05% and 0.01%. The availability in case 3 increased only around 0.01 or 0.02%, where the repair rate of each component is double respectively. Thank you for listening, and thank you for Graduate School ITB and LPP METB for this opportunity.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Riyandi, for this presentation. And then we will save the question and answer, the questions after the question and answer, after the third presenter. Okay, just bear with us here until the question and answer.
Yes,
please, for the next presenter, we have Mr. Yusiran. Please, the opportunity is yours.
Thank you. I will share screen. Can you see my share screen?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen who participated in this event, good morning everyone. My name is Yusiran. I'll be another presenter at this conference with my research title is a modular cell balancer based on multi-winding transformer and single inductor circuit for a series connected battery string. So here we go to talk about cell balancing. As we know, a modern battery pack are made up of 100 or 1,000 of individual cells connected in series configuration to provide a necessary voltage. However, variation in the cell cause the manufacturing process, lifetime of the cell, and temperature during the operation means that the series connected cell can become unbalanced in the voltage and the amount of charge they are storing. So the unbalanced battery cell voltage can reduce storage capacity and may cause an explosion or fire. This is a major obstacle to the safe and optimal operation of battery power equipment such as electric vehicles. Efforts are being made to overcome the voltage imbalance between battery cells by developing a battery cell balancing circuit. These balancers are broadly classified into two categories, passive and active cell balancer. Furthermore, active cell balancer can be divided into three groups on the basis of the use of components. Namely, we can see in the screen a switch capacitor, inductor, and the last is transformer-based cell balancer. So, if we compare with other topologies, the multi-winding transformer has obvious advantages. We can see in the table, the multi-winding transformer has the best performance in speed of equalization and energy efficiency. But it is also limited by the number of windings that can be wound on the same core, and thus the number of series units that the topology can balance is limited. The scholars noted that this limit is generally fewer than 12 sections. So, to make a multi-winding transformer balancing suitable for battery pack, the modularization technique is introduced. With the modularization technique, long series connected battery string are divided into many modules, and the cell inside the module are balanced by the multi-winding transformer balancing topology. And the remaining question is how to balance the unbalanced voltage between modules. To balance the unbalanced voltage between modules, scholars have put forward many solutions, but the existing topology still has the following problem to be solved. First, the speed of balancing between modules is not optimal in the method based on magnetization energy and switch capacitor because the balancing current is limited and difficult to control. Second, the optimization of balancing performance between modules made a significant increase in the number of components, resulting in additional cost and circuit complexity. To overcome the above problem, a modular cell balancer based on multi-winding transformer and single inductor for series connected battery string is proposed in this paper. So our research contribution is the optimization of balancing performance between modules without a significant increase in the number of components in the circuit. The proposed topology of balancing circuit based on multi-winding transformer and single inductor is shown in figure. You can see in my screen, there are M modules in the circuit and each module has n serial cell. This topology has a cell-level balancing circuit and module-level balancing circuit. This equalization of voltage within the module is carried out by a balancing circuit based on multi-winding transformer, while the equalization of voltage between modules is carried out by a balancing circuit based on single inductor. Therefore, it naturally inherits the advantages of simple circuit structure, simple control, no dependence of voltage detection, and fast equalization speed. To validate our proposed topology, we did a simulation in Simulink software. You can see in my screen, C1 till C6 are battery cell. The PWM signal are generated by the pulse generator. And the main parameter of the simulation model, we can see in table 1. So the result we get from the simulation, the figure show the cell voltage balancing curves. Actually, we can calculate the predicted value of the final voltage in individual cell and get 3.33 volts. And in simulation, we get after 5 seconds, the voltage value of all cells in series voltage equalization reach the near value 3.33 volts from the initial value. So from the simulation result, it can be seen that the equalization topology among cells can achieve voltage balancing. And the voltage is higher and lower than that of high and low voltage cell at the beginning of cell discharging and charging, respectively. This condition enables the achievement of zero voltage gap. Here we go to talking of voltage equalization between modules. So the figure shows the voltage equalization curve for two modules. The initial voltage of each module, voltage of module 1 is 10.8 volts, and voltage of module 2 is 9.2 volts. And we can calculate the predicted value of final voltage of module is 10 volts. And the simulation result, the equilibrium condition between the module is reached in 5 seconds with the final voltage module is 10 volt. This result indicate the that voltage balancing between cells and between modules can occur quickly. Simulation-based validation show the proposed balancing circuit can increase the rate of voltage equalization between module and between cell. So the conclusion is a modular cell balancer based on multi-winding transformer was developed to overcome the limited number of cells that can be balanced by a multi-winding transformer. Voltage balancing between modules is the main problem addressed in this study. The proposed balancing circuit can improve the balancing performance between module and between cell without causing a significant increase in the number of components and can simplify the control in this balancing circuit. And in the next what we will do is verify the circuit experimentally by building a balancer prototype. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yusiran. I think it's we have finished it in time. So, okay, that's great. We have, despite some of the difficulties in the beginning, we have still about 10 minutes here until 11 o'clock to finish. So we have a question and answer, and then I invite anyone. Please make comments or questions for the three presenters, but I'm afraid that the first presenter, which is Mr. Priyandi, is not yet present at the moment. So we have from the two presenters, please, anyone, if you have some comments or questions, please.
I have a question for Mr. Riyandi.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I saw your matrix of transition probability. There is a negative value, but we know probability does not have negative value. Could you explain why your transition probability matrix have negative value? Thank you.
Okay. The transition matrix is
yes, you can answer directly.
Okay, see from the state system, the state variable of the system. So when maybe I will. The probability is not negative value, is positive value, but it's only for equation of the characteristic of the system. So when we have transition out from the working state, it's become a negative, and it we receive it positive. It's only for only for the how the the difference between the derivative of the bit transition between the system working and the failed state. But the value lambda or mu is positive. Its derivative for the lambda is from the probability for the reliability data in site or in or existing literature. So negative doesn't mean the probability is negative. Oh.
Does that answer your question, Bu Irma?
Okay. Yes, I think maybe the variables will cancel the negative in the front of the equation, and then it turns in the end will be positive. I think that's what I understand. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bu Irma. Any question from the audience? From the fellow presenters, please. Maybe Mr. Yusiran has a question because it is quite close, right?
Yes, I have one question for Mr. Yendi. Actually, to give electricity service in a remote area, we can use a microgrid system. But now the microgrid system, like a solar PV system, is still expensive. So how we can solve the problems to reduce the cost of investigation to build a power system in a remote area?
Okay, thank you for Ms. Yusiran. Actually, it's not my expertise, but when I joined for International Better Course from ITB in July, we have designed for a PV system for remote area. It's very high cost, even for we see for a low cost component, because we need to transport to remote area for the system, so it's very high cost and for the maintenance. So then when we calculate for the system, we have because the cost high, and when we sell with the utility price like PLN, it's still high. So what in this time, what I thinking is we need a subsidy from government to build electricity in the remote area. And in this paper, actually, adding the cost and how we need to maintenance for the system. Because in this model, we adding for repair it is we need to train for the community in the remote area how to repair themselves for the system. But when we model for the battery, how the different value per reliability, and however the result is we still need to use the utility like PLN to build the system, because we need the continuous maintenance to success to provide the system or electricity is always available to community in the remote area. I hope
Okay.
I answer your question.
Yes. Thank you for your answer. It's very clear. Thank you.
Okay. Right. Thank you very much for your answer. Is there any other questions? We have 2 or 3 minutes left. Otherwise, I have a question for Mr. Yusiran. Well, actually, it is not related directly to your presentation, but it is related to the battery, and then also related to my own research that if you have a battery in your electric vehicles, for instance, it is prone to explosion when it is hit or during the impact of the crash, during the crash of the vehicles. Do you have any insight how to protect the battery in the event of crash? Do we have to protect the battery, or what is the criteria that the battery will explode during the impact? What is the criteria of the explosion? For instance, if the impact reaches some value, then it will explode, but if it is under some value, then it doesn't explode. Do you have any idea about that? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the question. Maybe lithium-ion battery is a risk in to be fire or explode. So we need a battery management system, a BMS, to management of temperature, voltage. So in a BMS, we need a voltage balancing. We also need a temperature control to prevent a battery in a high risk condition. So I think the best step to protect the lithium-ion battery from the high temperature, because the high temperature can make the battery become explode. And in my laboratorium in Department of Engineering Physics, we develop a battery management system. But in accident, we can until now we have not get a solution to protect the battery from fire or explode when hit another thing in street. But in the case if the battery get a vibration, it also affect to battery condition. So I think the battery management system still developed by the researcher, and it need to be reliability to protect the lithium battery pack in electric vehicle particularly. I think that's all.
Okay, thank you. It's actually due to the short circuit. If there is a short circuit because of the impact, then it will explode in some way. But yeah, it is some area of research that we need to address, because otherwise, the risk of impact or crash during the electric vehicle is still high. So we don't want to have a car explosion because of the crash. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Yusiran and Mr. Riyandi. And I'm afraid we still haven't got Mr. Nopriandi. Okay, so in this case, for the first 3 presenters in this room, we are finished, and then we move on to the next presenter, and then at this moment, the chair will be handed over to Dr. Irma Zakia. Please, Dr. Irma Zakia.
Okay, thank you, Bapak Rahman Setiawan. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Irma Zakia. I will be the chair of the second session in room 4. In room 4, we have 4 presenters, but I guess there is one presenter not present. So I want to make sure the 3 presenters are already here. Mr. Widi, Mr. Noval Riyandi, and Mr. Michael Isnaini.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so the presentation time is 7 minutes maximum, and we will have all the presenters at first, and we will end the session with Q&A. Okay, so I will give the time for the first presenter, Mr. Widi Astuti, and the title is Waste Reduction in Manufacturing Companies for Continuous Quality Improvement Using Waste Assessment Model and Deming Cycle Method. Please, Mr. Widi.
Okay, thank you, Miss Irma.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Widi. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the chance. Today, I want to present my research. The title is Waste Reduction in Manufacturing Companies for Continuous Quality Improvement using Waste Assessment Model or WAM and Deming Cycle Method or PDCA. PT ABC is a manufacturing company that produces tapioca flour. Tapioca flour is obtained by processing cassava with a certain rate of starch and yield. The processing process also goes through several stages, starting from the input process raw material, washing, milling and rasping, extracting, refining, dewatering, drying, and packaging. And then dewatering area is to be focused to improvement. In the process of processing, it turns out that there is often waste on the production line. Can you see the table of waste data that occurs in the production line? There are 3 areas. One area, the first area is purifying, have 1055 minutes downtime, and then area processing have 5,960 downtime, and then area drying have 273 downtime. 7 waste. Waste is any type of work activity that doesn't add value to the process of changing inputs into outputs. Toyota production system theory identifies 7 waste. The first, overproduction, and then waiting, transportation, overprocessing, inventory, motion, and defect. Waste assessment model consists of the waste relationship matrix, and then the waste assessment questionnaire. WAM has a model in the form of a very simple matrix, and that's supported by a questionnaire that can cover many things to achieve optimal and accurate result in the waste identification process. And waste assessment matrix, this test is done to find out the relationship between waste with the explanation of the relationship presented in the appendix. Calculation of the interrelationship between waste is done by open and closed interviews through questionnaire to corporate expert, namely the department head of production, warehouse, engineering, quality control, and continuous improvement. Waste assessment questionnaire is a questionnaire that contains questions to recognize the source of waste that occurs in the work environment. The table below shows the weight of the interrelationship between question type waste in waste assessment questionnaire. This weight is obtained from moving the score in the table above by the type of question available. Here is a table of calculation from critical waste. From the table, beside it can be concluded that the most dominant waste or critical waste that occurs in the work environment is a waste defect with a percentage of 27.94%. Then the second largest critical waste is the waste inventory, with the percentage is 18.28%. PDCA stands for English from Plan, Do, Check, Action. Is a four-step interaction problem-solving process commonly used in quality control. Deming cycle is a tool designed for continuous repair. PDCA has 8 steps. Step 1 is define problems and define repair them. Step 2, looking for all possible cause. Step 3, analyze the root cause of the problem. Root cause analyze a system to determine and identify the cause of a problem. The tool used is a fishbone diagram. Step 4, planning improvement action. At this step, determination of the planning steps of improvement action against the root cause of the problem that arise. From this step, an improvement plan is obtained. First, the operator slices the product in the vacuum if the product is wet. 2, replace the agitator shaft design. 3, replace the symmetrical pneumatic stand between the stands hole and shaft agitator. 4, coaching about work instruction to the operator. Step 5, implementation the improvement. Step 6, evaluation of improvement results. Step 7, standardize repair solution. Step 8, create a final report and determine the next improvement plan. The result of the research obtained. First, the most dominant or critical waste of the 5 departments is waste defect. And then result 2, the source of the cause of waste defects comes from the high downtime due to defects or damage to the engine in the dewatering area, namely agitator defects that cause lead time that can hamper the course of the production process. And then 3, waste assessment model and Deming cycle method are very good to use and develop PT ABC because the identification of waste that occurs in the work environment is more thorough or based on 7 waste and makes it easier for employees to identify the result of waste and prioritize improvements to the most dominant waste occurs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Widi Astutik, for your presentation. So just right on time, 7 minutes. Now we move on to the second presenter. I will call Mr. Noval Riyandi. Mr. Noval will present his research with the title Design and Simulation of Archimedes Screw Turbine at head below 1 meter.
Okay,
Mr. Noval, please, the time is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Irma. I would like to present my presentation.
Miss Widi, can you stop sharing your screen, please?
Okay. Okay, is my presentation can see?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, but first I want to say sorry because I prepared my presentation slides in Bahasa Indonesia, but I will try to explain in English. Okay, my name is Noval Riyandi. I will explain about my research that helped by me and my supervisor, Professor Priyono. It's about design and simulation in Archimedes screw turbine at head below 1 meter. Okay, this is the content. And I would like to explain first about the introduction. Okay, as we know, Indonesia have 94.3 gigawatt water energy potential. The data is from Ministry of Energy and Natural Resources of Republic Indonesia. But the implementation of utilization of water energy in Indonesia is only 5,969.15 megawatt. The small of the utilization of water energy is because there is environmental issue from the large hydropower plant, and of course the characteristic of water flow in Indonesia. So to handle the issues, there's a way. It is a utilization of water energy in a micro and pico scale in a rivers in Indonesia. As we know that Indonesia river characteristic is have a low head. So one of the tools or components to utilize the water energy is Archimedes screw turbine, or we call in this presentation is AST. AST can operate in a very low head, and it is suitable for the characteristic of Indonesian rivers. And also Archimedes screw turbine, or AST, is a very environmental friendly turbine, specifically for fish or live things in the river. AST is also have efficiency between 60% until 80%. And the turbine is can be seen from the picture here. Okay, but there are some problem for the AST. The first one is the limitation of the research in AST in Indonesia. And the second is there's a problem to design. The problem is to get the performance value in theoretically. So in the research, we design, formulate the equation in theoretically, and also we did a numerical simulation of AST. The theoretically equation we did with we combine the equation that formulated by Saverdi, Nunberg, and Muller that held before. And for the numerical simulation, we used the eddy-reducing setup, but we did some modification. Why the theoretical formula is important? It is because there is a high cost for the application or the software to simulate, and also the high cost for the prototype. So we need the theoretical equation to minimize the cost and get the performance theoretically with low error. So the purpose of the research is to design the IST, and we formulate the theoretical equation to get the performance of the IST. And also we did numerical analytic and also theoretical analytic with the IST. The limitation of the research is the length of the IST is 1 meter, and we did a variation of the inclination angle of IST, as we can see from the PowerPoint, and the head is below 1 meter, and we variate the water flow rate is 8 liter per second, 6 liter per second, and 8 liter per second, and the speed rotation we variate it to with 5, 10, 40.7, 20, and 25 radian per second. And for the research method, the first one is designing the geometry of IST. The second one is the calculating the theoretical equation, and the third is modeling IST, and the fourth is numerical analytic, and the fifth is theoretically analytic. For the IST designing, we use the geometry calculation by Muller, and then for the equation theoretically we use Muller, and this is a power for the theoretical power. We use the hydraulic force multiplied by speed, and for the speed we use Nuremberg equation. It is flow rate divided by a cross section. And for the hydraulic force, there is a d null, and it can be find by Savardé equation. It is Z minimum, or the minimum water level, plus a fill factor or fill waternya we use 1, and maximum water level minus minimum water level. And for the water level, we can see from the 5 and 6 equation. And for the modeling IST, we use the parameter that we get from the geometric calculation. And then we draw with the 3D software and get the model in one blade and 2 blade. Okay, for the analytical numerical analytic, we use this setup that for the first boundaries, there's an inlet and then an outlet, wall, rotor, and open channel. And we use a transient analysis. And for the inlet, we can see the boundary in this square. For the outlet, we use 0 pressure. And for open channel, we use a 0 pressure because of this is a open channel or free surface, so the pressure is 0. So the numerical analytic, we can see from the curve, there is a characteristic of the IST to the flow rate. For the one blade, it has a maximum point for the flow rate. It is 4 liter per second. If we add the flow rate, the performance will decrease. It is because there is an overflow in a turbine because of the turbine cannot flow the water flow more than 4 liter per second. But for the 2 blade, the water flow can through the turbine until 8 liter per second. So it's much higher from the one blade. It is because the volume that can be filled in the space between the blade is higher than one blade. So for the volume or the flow rate, it can implicate for the torque. As we can see that the torque for the one blade and two blade is higher than one blade. It's because in two blade, the volume that can be filled in the space is higher than one blade. So the hydrostatic force is higher. So the hydrostatic higher, it implicates for the torque. The torque is higher too. And if we vary the speed rotation, speed rotation has a limitation or the optimum point. It is 40.7 radian per second. If we increase the speed rotation, the torque will decrease because of it will not be optimum. And for the power is the result of
I'm sorry, Mr. Noval, please make your presentation faster.
Okay, the power is result of torque multiplied by speed. So the characteristic is similar with the torque. And for the efficiency, it's similar with the torque too, because of the formula is implicate. And this is for the numerical result. And for the theoretically, it results the high efficiency. It is 83.68% for 29 degree and for the one blade, and 83.87% for the two blade in 29 degree. And if we compare with the analytical with the numeric, the error with in our theoretical calculation is 0.48% until 7.86%. So it has a very small error. So it can the theoretically equation can be used for the none of the performance of AST. Okay, as the result, so the AST can be designed by geometry that in table 1, and the theoretically performance can be formulated by equation 1 until equation 7, and the analytical numeric can has been done with CFD analysis with efficiency in one blade is 80.7% and two blade is 82.68%. And for the theoretical analytic, we compare the power from theoretically with the numerical simulation, and result the error in a range 1% until 8%. This is the reference. Okay, and thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Noval, for your presentation. So I will call the next presenter. Last but not least, Mr. Michael.
Okay. Thank you. I will show my presentation. Okay.
Okay. Yes. So Mr. Michael will present his research, the assessment of soundscape as intangible heritage, critical approach in understanding the immaterial qualities. So the time is yours.
Yes, thank you, moderators. Thank you for the opportunity to present my dissertation research. This is my dissertation with my supervisors, Professor Wijaya, Dr. Heru, and Dr. Jacob Sarwono, PhD. Yeah, the title is the assessment of soundscape as intangible heritage in critical approach in understanding the immaterial qualities. Yeah, this is my content of my presentation. First part is the introduction. I will discuss about the significance of soundscape on preservation of cultural heritage. The second part is discussion about the methodology used to define the cultural value of soundscape of cultural heritage. And the final is the conclusion. Yes, sorry. This is the development of heritage discourse from the initial discourse to nowadays. Yeah, the first initial discourse of cultural heritage since that the cultural heritage since as its physical objects, the monuments, the architecture, the books, the natural landscape, or so on. The second one is the value heritage seen from technical, aesthetical, and historic of its object. The third part of initial discourse of cultural heritage focus on preserving the cultural heritage as on the object per se. The final is the preserving of cultural heritage emphasize the hegemony of ocular centrism, focus on visual sensory. Yeah, but there is changes, major changes in 1994 with the NARA document of on authenticity. Yeah. The NARA document on authenticity differs the cultural heritage. Yeah. They acknowledge the diversity of cultural heritage. The second one is the meaning of cultural heritage for local community, not seen by the global community, but seen what is the value for the local community. And the third one, the paradigm changes is the conservation of cultural heritage for humanity, not only for the object per se, but for the humanity. Therefore, the current cultural heritage discuss about the value base of cultural heritage, not only about the physical base cultural heritage, but also the value base of cultural heritage. What is the meaning for the local community? The second one, the cultural heritage discourse discuss about the equilibrium of
I'm sorry, Mr. Michael. I cannot hear your voice. I still cannot hear your voice. Okay, I think we have lost Mr. Michael. We will wait maybe 1 or 2 minutes until he can reconnect. So, ladies and gentlemen, after the last presenter, we will have the Q&A. You could also write the question in the chat column. Mr. Michael?
Sorry.
Okay, so you can continue. Yeah, you can continue.
Okay, yes, I will continue. This is, yeah, so the cultural heritage is not longer talking only about the physical object, but also about the value which contain in the physical objects. And the second is the equilibrium of tangible and intangible heritage, because not the diversity of cultural heritage is not only about the tangible heritage, but also about most of in Indonesia is about the intangible cultural heritage. The third one, we're talking about the social value of cultural heritage, not only about the technical or the aesthetic or the historic aspect, but also the social value of the local community. The next one, we're talking about the focusing on human experience. So heritage is not only seen, but it needs to be experienced by the community. The final discourse in cultural heritage is about the cultural conservation about on multisensory, yeah, not only about the visual sensory, but also with all of our sensory. So we use this is the opportunity with the soundscape. Soundscape is was initially defined as the sound identity of an area that needs to be considered to build the city more livable, more visible. Initially was discussed in the music in about the acoustic environment, but nowadays we talking about the soundscape in multidiscipline research. Yeah, the soundscape is the studies about the human perception based on perceived acoustic environment in a context. So there are three major components in the soundscape: human perception, perceived acoustic environment, and the context. Yeah. Nah, this is our dissertation is multidiscipline dissertation across from architectural research to acoustic laboratory, involved with acoustic laboratory. The architectural research talking about the heritage discourse, and the acoustic laboratory about soundscape discourse. And the meeting point is the cultural value of soundscape of cultural heritage. But the big question is how we can assess the cultural value of soundscape of cultural heritage. The problem is we need to combine more than one methodologies we need to develop the methodologies to assess the value of soundscape of cultural heritage. This is one diagram from Maffei in 2017 about how to assess. He talking about there is three components. It calls the historical, physical, and social analysis. So this presentation aims to define the methodologies to assess the cultural value of soundscape, especially from the past. We cannot experience the sound of the past. There are many records, many visual records, photograph, or early videograph. There is notes on historical, but there is no evidence of the sound of the past. Therefore, we need to develop the methodologies. So we develop the historical analysis. The historical analysis aims to investigate the evolution across the time of element representing potential sound source that could directly or indirectly influence the soundscape of the past. Yeah. For the example, we studied about the Museum Sejarah Jakarta, or past is the Stadhuis of Batavia. Yeah, there is a lot of photograph recording about the historical. Yeah, there is 18. This building is built in 1710. Yeah, and developed and still built until now. In 1880s, we defined the periodically before the 1880s. In 1920s, because this area becomes more important for not only for Indonesian but also for Southeast Asia. In 1970s, after the Declaration of Independence, this area been neglected, being a terminal bus, and revitalized in 1974 to 1980s. This is the photograph. From this photograph, we try to identify what is the potential sound source of each periodic. And then we need to develop the physical analysis to measure the acoustic environment, which we put it into the digital mixers, with the samples of sound. We try to find the nearest samples of sound with the and we discuss with the expert about the location. This is the device, the application that we built during this dissertation research, and we try to some of the respondents to try how to define, how to reconstruct, how to compose the soundscape of the past. And the final one is we collect the perception of the reconstruction acoustic environment of the past. With this, this is the dimension of perception that we assess. So there is two parts of the questionnaires. First one is the open question to explore the identifiable and prominent voice of the past. And the second one is the semantic scales are used to get the resident respondents widely to on the composition of the acoustic environment in the past. I still analyze the results of the research, but what I can share is this methodology I can use to define the soundscape of the perception of the past. So this is the conclusion. The soundscape are the approach that be used to investigate the perception of acoustic environment in the context. The soundscape value has become soundscape has cultural value because the same acoustic environment may have different meaning depending on the culture in particular location. Therefore, it's essential to pay attention to the soundscape in preserving cultural heritage because it reflects the spirit that exists in the area. The soundscape in the is part of the intangible heritage that can be used to determine the immaterial qualities dimension of the authenticity in Asian region. With this soundscape, the preservation approach that has been dominated with the visual senses can be expanded by paying attention to the experience of human in the cultural heritage area through the multisensory. This opened the new potential, better understanding about the value of cultural heritage from the multisensory perspective. From the methodology, we can use the physical, historical, and social analysis to define the soundscape of the past. That's all my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Michael, for your presentation. Okay, so we now have the Q&A session. I would like to inform you again that you can give the question in the chat column, or you can give the question directly. So I will invite any questions from the
Ms. Irma?
attendees. Yes.
I think we already have one question in the chat. If you can.
Okay. Okay. So okay. Thank you. There is a question from Miss Sabikun. Sabikun. Okay, Miss Sabikun. I have a question for Miss Widi. Okay, in Miss Widi presentation, please explain the variable PJ factor and Y, final. And also the OID column, I think it related to the table in your presentation. Ms. Swidi, please give the answer.
Okay, thanks, ma'am. In the table, PJ factor is obtained by multiplying the percentage of from by the 2 in the table. And then the final result or Y final is obtained by multiplying YJ by PJ factor. And in the column presentation O, E, and D, it is O is over production. Overproduction is a waste that occurs due to excess production and doesn't exceed consumer demand. And then for Y is waiting is futile because waiting for the next process. And then T is transportation, is related to transportation used in the process of moving materials or finished goods. And then P for overprocessing is a waste that occurs when the work method or work sequence or process used is not good and flexible. This can be caused because the existing process is not standardized. And inventory, this is form of waste can be related to material inventory. For example, work in process, goods, and or finished goods. And then waste motion for M is the unnecessary movement of the operator. This waste slow down the process so that the lead time becomes longer. And then for D is defects. Our products, defects is products that don't comply with predetermined specification or standard. This can lead to repetition of the production process. So the process is inefficient and less effective. I think yes, it, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Midi, for the answer. I think enough from the questioner, Ms. Sabikun. The answer from Ms. Vidi, is it enough?
I think yes.
Okay.
Already answered in chat.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I would like to invite another question from the audience.
Okay, excuse me, ma'am.
Okay, please.
Yes. Okay, I have a question to Mr. Naupal. The question is, can the Archimedes screw turbine be used in large-scale power plants, or it is more suitable for small-scale power plant like a micro hydro? Because what I have seen so far, this type is widely used in small-scale power plants. Thank you.
Okay, you can directly answer, Mr. Novel.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Irma. Okay, thank you for the question, Mr. Yusiran. Basically, the Archimedes screw turbine is used for the large scale of hydropower. But as the research that helped before, it also have a high efficiency if used in a micro or pico scale. So it can be operated both large and small micro hydropower plant.
Okay, thank you. That's enough, clear. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr.
Okay, thank you for the question and the answer from Mr. Nova. Okay, so I still would like to invite any other question from the audience. Okay, you can still also write in the column chat if you prefer and asking the question. Okay, so we still have time for the for this Q&A session. Meanwhile, I would like to ask Mr. Michael. Okay, so I'm not really I mean I try to understand your research. Maybe what I can understand is that does this soundscape determining the soundscape is another way to classify whether a building is heritage or not, or this is another I mean, what is the goal of this using soundscape? Because what we know conventionally that we can determine whether a building is a heritage is from the physics, but you use the soundscape method.
Yes.
So this is it another way? I mean, is it another way to determine that this building is cultural heritage, or we use it in another application, not for buildings?
Okay, thank you for the question. The previous heritage discourse or the policy of heritage is talking about the visual sensory of the building. Therefore, the heritage preserved only on the building itself. Yeah. Therefore, the value of the heritage is only on those buildings by we see only about the heritage building. For the examples in Museum Sejarah Jakarta, most of them doesn't regards the physical objects of the building. They go to the Taman Fathahillah for social activities or others. Maybe it's something's wrong with the physical object heritage that we use along of this time. So we try to, is it a better quality of understanding of heritage if we elaborate the soundscape in to preserve the heritage building or the heritage area? Preliminary research show us the results that there is influence of soundscape to preserve to include in preservation of heritage area. Yeah. So we try to another way through another discussion about how to preserve the same object, because all of this time we talking about the visual sensory, the building is good or not, what is the meaning, what is the historical aspect of this building, but not on we not discuss about what is the experience, what is the people want, what is their experience in historic. Is there they are feeling new? Sometimes they feel new feel in historic area. This is really strange because the building is renovated with new materials, the sound is new, the surrounding area is new. So what is the meaning of the heritage? We question about the how to preserve the heritage area from the other perspective. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Very clear
Yeah.
from your explanation. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm still inviting questions from the attendees. Any other questions? Okay, so perhaps I would like to ask the last question to Mr. Nova. Okay, you use the model geometric Archimedes turbine. I mean, how to validate that your assumed model is appropriate? And perhaps if we use another model, will the result of your research will have another outcome or similar outcome? If you can make some guess or conjecture. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the question, Mrs. Irma. I will answer the question. For the validate, honestly, we already did the validation with the real condition. We compare our calculation with the numerical simulation, and our numerical simulation we validate with the real case. But we did not show it in the presentation slide. But we already have validation data, and the presentation of the error is in 5% error. I think it's can be valid because of it's below 10% error. And if we do another geometric, it can be used for the another geometric such as 3 blades or 4 blades, because basically the calculation is the fundamental calculation for the Archimedes screw turbine. We just modified for the water inflow in the turbine, but for the generally it can be used for the another geometry for the IST.
Okay, thank you for your explanation, Mr. Nova.
Thank you.
Okay, yes. So I think we don't have any more questions. So we can finish this session. Okay. Okay, Mr. Dr. Rahman, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Irma. I have a question for Mr. Michael Isnaini. We have, I think it's quite interesting that you relate the soundscope, right? The acoustic environment with the heritage building. So, is there any explanation or from how what is the logic behind that? Because I'm sorry, in your presentation I couldn't catch the relationship between the acoustic environment with the value, whatever it is in the old buildings like that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Not only for the old building, but the heritage for Asian region, for Asian community is more than the physical object. What is the So we know that the what is called the traditional dance, tarian adat or music, or it's the local heritage for it is the our cultural heritage richness. More than, I think it's more than the building. So the society in Asia, in Asian community, has more than value the heritage, the cultural heritage, more in the value of what contained in the cultural heritage beyond it's not the dancer yeah, it's not the what is called the player, the musician, yeah, but it's the value. What is the meaning of the value of the cultural heritage for our community? So so in our research, question about, is there any relation between the soundscape and the cultural heritage? How can we how can we value the heritage from the soundscape perspective? The soundscape is about the perception of the human in the context from all of the multisensory, multimodal sensory, yeah, not only the physical. So by using the soundscape, we hope, we propose that the understanding of cultural heritage is more increased than better than what is our what about the our understanding about the cultural heritage. Yeah. So it is we want to, because in, for example, in Braga, people are talking about Braga, walking along the Braga, but they don't know about what is the meaning of the Braga from the past. Yeah, the Braga is we talking about the Braga is the physical object, but there is some value from the past about the Braga. Yeah. Our preliminary research is in Braga, yeah, and found that the Braga has its unique characteristic from the soundscape of the past, yeah, that we need to preserve beyond only the physical object of the street, the corridors. So.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for the question and answer. Okay, so before we close this session, we will take a picture. And please, Mas Nur, you can lead the photo session.
Okay. So everyone, I would like to ask you to turn your camera on and use the virtual background. Also, don't forget to fill the form of attendees in the link on the chat. Okay, I will wait for 10 seconds to take the photo. And okay, can you guys smile? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, wait. Okay, maybe one more. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you for all the attendees and Miss Irma and Mr. Rahman for being the chair. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mas Nur. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the oral presentation session. Now, we would like to say thank you for your attention and your attendees. And you can go back to the main room after the lunch break. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good luck and to your study. Terima kasih, Bu Irma.
Ya, terima kasih, Pak Rahman.
Thank you, everyone. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pak Zaki, Pak Mas Nur. Terima kasih, Mas Nur.
Ya, sama-sama, Pak.